The rain over the city wasn't just weather, it was a character in itself, a relentless, icy hammer against the glass walls of the obsidian bistro. Inside, the air smelled of expensive wine and cold ambition. It was the kind of place where people ate memories they couldn't afford and discarded morality like a used napkin. Maya didn't fit. Her uniform was a size too large, stiff from cheap detergent, and her feet throbbed in shoes that had lost their padding months ago. She wasn't really there. In her mind, she was in a cramped, radiator-clanking apartment, watching her little sister, Chloe, struggle to breathe. Chloe had been diagnosed with a severe respiratory condition that required specialized, expensive nebulizers and constant medication, things Maya's dwindling, docked paycheck couldn't cover. Her manager, a man named Sterling, whose smile didn't reach his vulture-like eyes, had made it his personal mission to extract maximum labor for minimum pay. He docked her again this week for unprofessional demeanor, which apparently meant looking tired while working a double shift. At table 7 sat Silas Thorne. He was not a man who enjoyed his food. He was a man who dissected it. He was a billionaire who had built his empire on aggressive acquisitions and cold efficiency.
His partner, Elena, sat across from him, draped in silk that cost more than Maya's entire annual salary. Elena wasn't interested in food. She was interested in the vibrant, frantic messages appearing on her phone, her thumb moving with the speed of a hummingbird. Maya approached to clear the plates. On Silas's dish sat 2 untouched, herb-crusted salmon fillets. The sight made Maya's stomach ache. She thought of Chloe's empty pantry, the bills stacked high on the kitchen table like a tombstone. Her voice was a fragile thing, brittle as autumn glass. "Mr. Thorne? Excuse me, sir?" Silas paused, his fork hovering. He looked up, his eyes a chilling shade of slate gray. "Yes?" I'm sorry. I know this is improper, but those fillets, they're untouched. My sister, she's very ill, and she hasn't had a proper meal in days. May I bring them to her?" The air in the room seemed to freeze. Elena looked up, her expression morphing from boredom to sharp, viper-like annoyance. "Absolutely not," Elena snapped, her tone dripping with disdain. "This is the Obsidian Bistro, not a soup kitchen for your needy relatives. Do you have any idea who we are? Before we pull back the curtain on the rot underneath this place, take a second and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like, and tell me in the comments, what's the biggest injustice you've ever witnessed? I'm reading everything." Silas did not look at Elena. He remained focused on Maya.
He saw the tremor in her hands, the genuine, bone-deep desperation that she couldn't hide. "Of course," Silas said, his voice quiet, carrying the weight of a decree. "Wrap them up." "Silas!" Elena hissed, her knuckles whitening as she gripped her clutch. "It's just salmon, Elena. Don't be tedious." He leaned in, his voice barely a whisper, yet it cut through the room's noise. "Maya, did you say? Tell me, why does your manager treat you as if you're a liability rather than an employee?" Maya's throat tightened. She couldn't tell him. She couldn't say that the entire restaurant, the entire payroll system, was a hollow facade, a machine designed to siphon money into a private account Elena controlled. Silas Thorne didn't believe in coincidences, and he certainly didn't believe in blind acceptance of the world. The look in Maya's eyes had told a story, not just of personal struggle, but of systemic fear.
He didn't leave when Elena did. He ordered another drink, a scotch he didn't touch, and he watched. He watched Sterling, the manager, hovering like a predator, counting the register money with a fervor that bordered on the obsessive. He watched the staff, their movements frantic, their faces drained of color. When Sterling finally emerged through the kitchen's back exit, Silas was waiting in the shadows. "The payroll," Silas said, his voice devoid of emotion. "The staff tonight are walking dead. They haven't seen a full check in months. Why?" Sterling startled, nearly dropping his keys. "Sir, I have no idea. I'm not a regulator you can bribe, Sterling. I'm a man who owns the building you operate in. Tell me the truth, and you might keep your job. Lie, and I'll ensure you never work in this industry again." Sterling cracked. It was a pathetic, messy admission. It wasn't the restaurant's finances that were failing. It was Elena's private expenditures. She had bypassed the official accounting firm and implemented a supplemental payroll software, routed directly to her offshore gambling debts and luxury acquisitions. The realization hit Silas like a freight train. His own partner, a woman he had trusted with the inner workings of his holdings, had built a miniature empire of theft. He began his own quiet investigation. He didn't use public investigators. He used his own team, men and women who could unearth a secret from a decade ago in an afternoon. Maya, meanwhile, was living in the crosshairs. Elena knew someone had talked. She didn't know it was Maya, but she was looking for a scapegoat. The environment at the bistro became suffocating. Every mistake Maya made was magnified, every interaction scrutinized. Before we reveal how the trap finally snapped shut, take a second and share your thoughts below. This story is only just beginning to turn.
Silas watched the drama from his peripheral, his plan meticulously coming together. He needed proof that couldn't be disputed, a paper trail that led directly back to Elena. He needed to ensure that when the hammer fell, it wouldn't just bruise, it would shatter. But Elena was becoming frantic. She was making mistakes, the kind of clumsy errors that come from a woman who knows her time is running out. Silas waited, delaying the final confrontation, letting her dig her own grave deeper. Elena had finally realized that Silas was onto her. She hadn't expected him to care about a waitress's sister, but she had underestimated his ability to spot a broken cog in a machine. She was in the restaurant's private office, frantically transferring the last of the laundered funds, trying to wipe the server's drive. Maya was there. She had been tasked with cleaning the office after hours, a punishment, really. She watched from the doorway as Elena, disheveled and wild-eyed, scrambled to hide the evidence of her malice. This was the moment the tension snapped. Silas entered. He didn't rush. He walked into the room as if he were taking his seat at a boardroom meeting. "The transfer is being blocked, Elena," Silas said, his voice flat. Elena froze, her hand hovering over the delete key. She spun around, her expensive dress torn at the shoulder. You think you're so high and mighty, Silas? Do you have any idea how much I had to sacrifice to—" "You didn't sacrifice anything," Silas interrupted. "You stole from people who had nothing." Before we deliver the final blow, I'd love to hear your take. If you were in Silas's shoes, what would you do? Comment below and let's discuss.
Maya stepped out from the shadows, her phone recording. Elena turned, her face contorting with rage. She lunged for Maya, her nails sharp, but Silas moved faster. He stepped between them, his hand catching Elena's wrist, pinning her in place. "It's over," he said. The police were already in the building. When they entered, the expression on Elena's face wasn't one of shock. It was the recognition of defeat. The evidence wasn't just on Maya's phone. It was in the meticulously preserved logs Silas's team had recovered from the server's backup before Elena could even dream of deleting them. The dissolution of Elena's influence was absolute. The Obsidian Bistro was liquidated. Silas didn't just walk away. He took the remaining assets and, in a move that shocked the city, turned the space into a community center and a co-op restaurant run by the very people Elena had exploited. Maya was appointed as the head of the collective. Chloe was safe. The medical treatment she needed was provided by the very fund that had been stolen from the restaurant's employees, now restored and directed to their health and well-being. Elena faced a public, humiliating trial, and the fallout was complete. Silas remained a man apart, changed by the realization that his own indifference had allowed such a callous injustice to fester under his roof. Maya found a strength she hadn't known she possessed, a voice that was no longer brittle, but resonant with the power of truth. She ensured that the restaurant didn't just serve food, it served justice, day in and day out. The obvious conclusion wasn't a surprise. It was an inevitability, built through the slow, agonizing process of dismantling a lie, one truth at a time. Thank you for watching this story of justice and resilience. If you have been moved by Maya's journey or the moral complexities of this case, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to American Truth Tales so we can keep bringing you stories that matter. Share this video with someone who needs to see that truth always finds a way. We'll see you in the next one.